Welcome to all you Aquarians out there. This is your yearly horoscope for 2023 in a nutshell. So let's have a look at what's going on. Excuse me. Now, the first thing that I really like about the year of 2023 is that it hasn't got those clashes anymore of outer planets. So in 2022 and 2021 in particular, the Aquarians, they had a rough time, or a testing time to say the least, with the Saturn Uranus square. It was the signs that felt it the most was the fixed signs, and you're one of them. So that's not going on in 2023 anymore, and that is good news. In fact, no big clashes with those outer planets. So we can have a look at the outer planets now individually, what they are gonna do in the key areas of your life. Let's start with Pluto, because it's a big thing. Occurring around March time up until June. So a couple of months, it's a sneak preview though. A couple of months from March to June, we're gonna have Pluto in your sign, in Aquarius. So all Aquarians will feel it, but of course, if you've got planets between 0 and 1, 2 degrees of Aquarius, you will feel it very strongly. And that Pluto is about transformation. It is about a dying and a rebirth. It is about, depending on whether it is your ascendant, it's your whole life that is about to change. Whether it is your sun sign, it's your identity. What do you identify yourself with? If you identify yourself with your work, you could be completely changing of career. And I say completely, right? From the dentist to the art person that is having a gallery and sells art. You see the total extreme transformation. When it's on your moon, it's more on an emotional level. The survival mechanisms that once were serving you are no longer serving you with this Pluto there. So that is definitely already starting. But most of the year, you're still going to have Pluto in Capricorn. And that is your 12th house. So and that is the same as last year. So Pluto in Capricorn has to do with the 12th house is a very unconscious house where your karmic patterns are, and Pluto is a very karmic planet. So it's about the destructions of old patterns, and so that you can be more authentic, you can make better choices, and you can release yourself from those old patterns, karmic patterns, generational patterns, so to speak. So that will still be going on for most of the year. But it's good to know that there is some huge transformations going on for you, and the ultimate goal here of Pluto is to get a more authentic life. Not that it's not already, but even more. And to everything that is hidden, to look at it, and the shadows, to bring it up and to face it so it can dissolve and transform. What else is going on for you? Neptune is still in the second house. That's the same as last year, and it's gonna stay there for the rest of the year. So what I said in the yearlies of last year for Neptune is the same, which means that when it comes to your self-worth and finances, it can be a little bit tricky with Neptune there. It's not my favorite position to have, because the second house is a very earthly house, and when you've got Neptune there, certainly when you're too focused on material successes, it can really do the opposite. And so be very aware what you're doing with your finances. Don't be too, you could say, your head in the clouds. Try to be as realistic as you can with Neptune there. And it can also mean insecurities when it comes to your confidence. But see that as a good thing to improve it. And see that as, why am I not having so much confidence? If you're saying like, yeah, I'm single, I want to attract a beautiful, handsome guy or girl, and but they have to be very thin and they have to be very smooth, and you're like carry on weight like 20 kilos too much, well, and that's dropping your confidence, work on that confidence. That is the thing with Neptune there. Don't fool yourself. Start with you. And that is a process that you've got time to figure that out. So, but be very aware of also when you're doing finances of your intentions. Because if you're going to have those intentions, it's not going to work out that it's best with Neptune there. Then for the rest of the year, Uranus is in, or for the whole year, in Taurus, in your 4th house, the same as last year. But now the difference that Saturn is not going to clash it anymore. So everything that you want to go forwards with, that relates to the 4th house, which is, for a lot of you, it's their home, literally. It's the home environment. It's also your emotions. You can go forwards now with Uranus. So if you would want to try to sell a home and it didn't work because of the Saturn clash there, because you might have had restrictions and being scared of doing so for whatever reason, now there is this liberty energy of Uranus in the 4th, you being able to free yourself up from that. And although it is still a bit unsettling because it squares up to your energy. Uranus in the 4th house so can indicate indeed moves, but also it can indicate that you're from home, you're doing Uranus stuff. Like doing astrology videos, for instance, is a very Uranian thing to do at home. So you could be doing something like that. Of course, it doesn't have to be that, but it's just an example to show you that you can do some more Uranian stuff. Then and be a little bit everywhere. Also, when it comes to your emotions, there could be a little bit more up and down there. But it has to do with embracing the newness, and that you want some newness there in your environment where you live. Saturn is still in your 1st house, but it's about to end around March of next year. So for those of you who've got planets between 22 and 29 degrees of Aquarius, they're going to have Saturn on their sun sign ascendant. So remember, this is a very short transit. So you are the lucky ones who've got, like, at the end of Aquarius, you're having a very short, relatively short transit of Saturn. But of course you felt it already in 2022 when Saturn is approaching that. And that means a reality check when it comes to your identity, especially in work as well. And that less is more, and that you have to be very honest with yourself. And also the validation of self, you have to give it to yourself. You have to not expect it too much from others while Saturn is on your sun sign or your ascendant. Of course, if it's your ascendant, it shows a huge maturity cycle getting started here, which is depending on your age. You know, if you're 12 years old and having Saturn on your ascendant, it's of course more challenging to handle this. But it shows a new rebirth. It shows a rebirth, but also one that considers responsibilities, boundaries, discipline. So it's, if you embrace that, like I've seen people starting their own business, taking responsibilities, having their first child, doing something very responsible basically, and they are responsible for it. With Saturn there in the 1st house, and if you embrace that, it can really give you for the next 30 years a good solid foundation. So use it in that respect. Don't run away from responsibilities. And then Saturn shifts into your 2nd house from March and onwards in Pisces. So that means for a lot of you a restructuring, more discipline towards your resources. So of course these are hard times, right, for all of us. And but with Saturn here in your 2nd house, it really shows to be very economical, to be very rational, very down to earth, but also fluent in how you shift and manage your resources, not being stubborn, because it's an immutable sign of Pisces. And you have, this is a process. You've got time to improve those finances and also your self-worth. Your self-worth could be a little bit less than usual because of Saturn in your second house, but know that it is there to learn you to improve your self-worth. So if your self-worth is low because you weigh 20 pounds too much or 20 kilos too much, you can work on that by Saturnal stuff, which is every single day doing something in a small way, but doing something about it. And that's the good thing about Saturn in the second house, that it can give you that discipline. Of course, it doesn't give you that, but it's a reflection of what's going on with you. Jupiter in the third house up until May, that is nice for you. That is still there in Aries, and that has to do with a lot of teaching, learning, short trips. So you get opportunity there for sure. Also, when you have your own website, or the social network can go out of the roof there with Jupiter in your third house. So that's all really nice and well. Also, your connection with neighbors, your connection with siblings, it could be very buoyant and very supportive as well. And Jupiter shifts in May into your fourth house, which I really love, and stays there for the rest of the year in Taurus. So that means finding more purpose in being at home, finding more purpose in your home, literally, but also finding more purpose emotionally. You can nurture yourself easier. It's less energy that is negative, like codependent energy. It's more like, yeah, I nurture myself here and I'm feeling good on an emotional level. That is really the beauty of that Jupiter in Taurus next year. The nodes are shifting as well in July. They are still in Scorpio and Taurus. So the North Node in your fourth house, you Aquarians, up until July. Still, the focus should be, you do whatever you want to do, but should be on your family and increasing emotion. If you say, I have no family, it's increasing your emotional stability. It's nurturing thyself. It's being your own mom. It's finding that peace within yourself, rather than going out there, having the career and doing 90 hours a week to spend time when it comes to your career. I'm not saying neglect your career, but still up until July, it's energetically better to focus on your security, your emotional security. And then it shifts from July and onwards to Jupiter, North Node in third house, which is Aries, and the South Node in Libra. And that is all about shift in the way that you teach, the way that you learn, day-to-day things, your skills, your short trip travels, your business that you do. I mean, the PR is also the North Node in the third house, increase of that. When you have your own business, you can really, really increase a lot of your social media there. And so yes, a little bit less towards those stubborn, old belief systems that are no longer working for you. And last but not least, I like this very much. Venus retrograde in Leo, your opposite sign, from July to September. So that's definitely about love, because we didn't talk a lot about love basically, but this is going to be a huge period of time for you when it comes to love. There is a Venus retrograde always shows, and definitely in your seventh house, that you're going to reassess something. Whether you are single or not, you are going to reassess love for sure. And for those of you who are in a relationship, you want to get along better with that person. And that's the Venus retrograde. If you are single, there could be coming someone into your life. And it's not necessarily someone that you already know. It could be though. But it can also be a new person that you reassess. In the beginning, you think this of them. And then with the retrograde, you think something different of them. For better or for worse. It doesn't matter. I mean, it does matter. But it's of course, relating to your own personal chart. But I really like that for you. It means like getting along better with people, or you at least doing your best to do so, and also attracting very beautiful people or handsome people. Very nice. All in all, there are some, you don't have that Saturn Uranus anymore, so that's a good thing. If you, especially when you want to start new things around your home and around your emotions to strengthen it, you can do new things now. And all in all, quite an interesting year for sure. Make the best out of it, and thank you for watching. Bye bye.